He had just stepped off the evening train, exhausted after another long day at work, when he noticed a small crowd gathered near the exit. Curious, he slowed down, adjusting the strap of his worn-out bag. As the people parted, he saw a frail beggar girl sitting on the cold cement floor, her head bowed, her hands trembling as she held a paper cup. Something about her posture, her hair, her presence tugged at a memory buried deep in his past. He felt a strange pull inside his chest, a mixture of confusion and recognition he couldn't explain. He took another step, squinting in the fading light. Her face was hidden behind strands of messy hair, but her voice, soft, hesitant, almost broken, reached him. "Please, something to eat," she whispered. The sound stopped him cold. It wasn't the words, it was the tone. Gentle, familiar, haunting. His heart thudded heavily as old emotions stirred. He hadn't heard that voice in years, yet it had once been the center of his world, the anchor to his youthful dreams. Memories flooded his mind, of college corridors, shared laughs, and stolen glances. She was the girl he had once loved with every fiber of his being, the girl he gathered courage to propose to on a rainy afternoon beneath an old peepal tree. But she had smiled sadly, touched his hand, and said, "You deserve someone better. Not me." Those words had stayed with him, carving a hollow in his heart. He had walked away that day, but her absence echoed for years. Now, standing in the crowded station, he felt time collapse around him. Could it really be her? The confident, cheerful girl he once adored, now reduced to this fragile, trembling figure begging for scraps. His breath caught. A mixture of sorrow and disbelief wrapped around him tightly. He took another step, compelled by a force stronger than logic. His heart pounded, each beat louder than the station announcements echoing above. As he approached, the girl lifted her face slightly, revealing hollow cheeks, tired eyes, and bruised lips. For a moment, she squinted at him as if her memory was trying to bridge the same impossible distance. He froze. There was no doubt now, it was her. Changed, yes. Broken, yes. But unmistakably the same girl whose rejection once shattered him. He felt a sting behind his eyes, not of anger or resentment, but of aching sadness. He kneeled slowly, lowering himself to meet her at eye level, ignoring the strange looks passers-by threw at him. "Is it, really you?" he asked in a voice that trembled despite his effort to stay composed. She blinked rapidly, as if fighting to recognize him. Then her eyes widened, just a little. You know me," she whispered, sounding lost, afraid, and embarrassed. She hugged her ragged shawl closer, hiding the shame written all over her face. "I'm Ahmed," he said gently. "From college. Do you remember?" She gasped softly, covering her mouth, tears gathering instantly. "Ahmed," she repeated in disbelief, as though speaking his name hurt. Her shoulders shook with a silent sob. "I'm sorry," she choked out. "You shouldn't see me like this." He swallowed hard, feeling a lump form in his throat. She looked so small, so defeated, nothing like the bright girl who once lit up every room she entered. "Hey," he whispered, placing his jacket around her trembling shoulders, "you don't deserve to be out here. You never did." She shook her head violently. "No, you don't understand. My father died. My mother fell sick. And the man I trusted, left me with nothing." Her voice cracked under the weight of her confession. "I didn't know where else to go. I lost everything, even myself." She stared at the ground as tears dripped onto her dirty hands. Ahmed clenched his fists, anger surging within him, not at her, but at the cruel fate that had brought her here. "You should have called me," he said softly, his voice breaking. She let out a humorless laugh. "After rejecting you, after breaking your heart, I had no right to come back into your life." The guilt in her words pierced him deeper than the rejection ever had. He gently tilted her chin up, forcing her to look at him. "You didn't break my heart," he said. "Life happens. People drift. But seeing you like this, alone, hurt, that breaks me more than anything." Her tears flowed freely now. She wasn't just crying from hunger or exhaustion, she was crying from the pain of being seen, truly seen, after years of hiding. The noise of the station faded into nothing. It felt like the world had shrunk into the space between them. "Please let me help," he whispered. She hesitated, fear flashing across her features. "I don't want to be a burden," she said. "You owe me nothing." He shook his head. "Maybe. But humanity, kindness, compassion, we owe that to everyone." Especially to the people who once meant something to us. She covered her mouth again, overwhelmed. No one had spoken to her like that in years. No one had treated her like she was still human. Slowly, she extended her hand, trembling. "Okay," she whispered. "But, I'm scared." He took her hand gently, wrapping his fingers around hers. "It's okay. I'm here now." The warmth of his touch made her sob again, but this time with relief. As he helped her stand, she wobbled slightly, her legs weak from hunger and days of sleeping on cold floors. He steadied her instantly, holding her close to keep her from falling. They walked out of the station together, her steps slow and uncertain, his firm and reassuring. People stared, some with curiosity, some with judgment, but he ignored them all. She leaned on him lightly, as though afraid she would disappear if she put too much weight on hope. "Where are we going?" she asked quietly. "Home," he replied simply. She looked up in shock, shaking her head. "No, your family will understand," he interrupted. Outside, the cold wind hit her, making her shiver. He tightened his jacket around her and guided her toward a waiting cab. The driver looked at her with pity, but Ahmed's protective glare made him look away. She held his arm tightly as if afraid he might change his mind. "Thank you," she whispered, "for seeing me, when I stopped seeing myself." Her words made his chest tighten. "Everyone deserves a second chance," he said softly. As the cab began to move, she rested her head on his shoulder, exhausted but safe. For the first time in years, she didn't feel invisible. And for the first time since college, he felt that life had finally brought him back to a moment he wasn't meant to lose. The station lights faded behind them, replaced by the quiet promise of something new, something healing. A journey that didn't erase the past but rewrote its ending with compassion instead of heartbreak. Please tell me how you liked the story in the comments. Subscribe to this channel and like it, thank you.